Let's talk about campaign leadership. They say that the secret to success in real estate is location, location, location. The secret to success in fundraising is leadership, leadership, leadership. You need to have highly visible, well-respected people who can lead your campaign. And what we want besides highly visible, well-respected is somebody who can give a lead gift, so that we have you know, a generous person and a giving peer to all the other major gift prospects that you have out there and that you're going to solicit. So when you know, you ask them for $1 million, the campaign chair will say, listen, we have a $10 million campaign. I want you to know that I've given a gift in the $1 million level, and I'm hoping that you know, would be willing to entertain that same generous gift. I'm not asking you to do anything I haven't done. That goes a long way to securing another generous gift.
So this isn't necessarily your top donor.
Doesn't necessarily have to be. Doesn't necessarily have to be your top donor, but it sure helps.
And if you don't already kind of have in mind of who your campaign chair might be, and because some people kind of do already, and during the study we asked that too. Well, we asked people if they'd be willing to volunteer in some way, not necessarily, you know, a pie, but we don't say that. And then we also asked, who do you envision being a good campaign chairperson, co-chairs, and what kind of leadership do you see in this campaign? And they'll suggest people, which indicates to me a couple things. Even if that person's not the chair, that's someone that person respects, and that might be the person we end up having to go back to this person and ask for a gift if they've, you know, indicated that it's significant enough to warrant that. But we come back with a list of names that were recommended in the study. And if you have no clue, then that will help us. That plus, you know, we can help you figure out who we interviewed by their indicated gift too. That might be someone you want to consider.
And this goes to a good point. Please don't name a chair before you do the study. Mm-hmm. Let the study help you, you know, and let the donor insights help you choose who to select, okay? Because it may be you have somebody in mind, you get them, and you find out through the study that there may be some bad blood there between your major gift person and the identified leader. So you just never know how that's going to play. And you have to be able to ask for money. When you get the campaign chair or co-chair, when you get the steering committee members, they are there for one reason. They are there for one reason, and that is to ask for the order. Okay? So we can't be weenies. We have to. And here's the one thing in the recruitment. Convince them that you're going to give them everything they need to succeed. And I'll just say another word about recruitment. Gone is the day where after a board meeting you can walk somebody to the car and ask them to serve on a steering committee. That day is gone. People, at least the people that we typically want to serve on a steering committee, these people are slammed. They're busting every valve already in their life. And so it takes a certain amount of wooing, you know, and what we're doing these days is we're preparing a manual of information for the recruitment process, just like we prepare a manual of information for $1 million, you know, because that is, that's an important asset you are asking for when you recruit somebody to chair or co-chair or to serve on the steering committee. So be prepared.
They want to know how much time it's going to cost me and how much money it's going to cost me.
Those are the two answers you got. How much time and how much money is this going to cost me?
Time is money to them.
Well, yeah.
So
oh, yeah. It's all of a piece. So be ready. Anything else?
You ever had co-chairs?
Yes. Yeah, we have. And I really like having co-chairs, just for a sense of balance. And co-chairs can come in the form of husband and wife, you know, male, female. I just like to have as much kind of balance as possible.
Sometimes in universities too, when you're kind of wanting to appeal to different generations, it could be an older person and a younger person, so it's kind of like the past and the future almost. You know, a lot of times younger people can't make those leadership gifts, but, you know, keep it in mind. When I said young, I mean my age, so.
We've even seen where we've had instances of recruiting a committee of the chair, where these folks that we wanted were so very busy and so everywhere that they would not accept the total responsibility. But because there was a committee of the chair, in this instance 4 people, you know, they were able to say, okay, when I'm in Highlands, and you know, for June, July, and August, it's going to be okay because there are 3 others who are not going to be spending their, you know, summer there. So there are ways you can accommodate the campaign leadership, and there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of ego, and the only thing I know is that we are there to help them succeed. We are there to give them everything they need to succeed. So it's just very important that you have good leadership, good steering committees. And as much as they will do the heavy lifting for you, you know, believe me, it's going to turn the screw on your work, because, you know, you're going to have some people you're assigned to, you're going to have some steering committee members you're assigned to, and it just, it takes time and energy and attention. So it ups the ante on your own job intensity. Okay. It's important that you have a, you know, in that packet of materials that you use for recruitment, first thing you put down is the job description. And as Jeannie mentioned, how much time, how much money is it going to cost? What are some of the other things that I include? I include the range of gift chart to let them see what kind of gifts we're going to need to succeed. I'm going to let them see, if I'm going for co-chairs, I'll let them see the responsibilities of steering committee members, so that they know the kind of people they're going to need to want to recruit for those positions. I'm going to want a campaign timeline, just to kind of let them know how much time this is, how many months. We're talking about 12, we're talking about 24 months, and things like that. So those are the types of things that we want in the job description and in that recruitment package.
Yeah, the case statement is a huge part of this, and again, like I said earlier, even with like the annual fund and your statement, case statement there, you want to make sure you appeal to the head, to the heart, every aspect, because people give for different reasons. And very similar to annual fund, you want to make sure you have, you know, what we do, why we do it, where we're going, and how you can help. And that may include heart-tugging stories. You know, your case could even include a video, which I think works well. And if we get some, if I can get this to work, I may see if I can show you guys a video that they did at Florida Baptist Children's Home with what I mentioned earlier with the porch light. They did it for sex trafficking. They did a video that I don't care how many times I've seen it. I mean, she was talking about it. It just really, really gets to me. So if that's your prospect's motivation, make them cry. I mean, I'd say that with a good heart. It's important for them to feel. I think it's very human and very personal when you have that empathy for people. You also want to show that you're a good steward of your money up to now. Make sure you're not in a position where they feel like they're giving money to keep your doors open. You know, hopefully you wouldn't be in a campaign if that was the case, but sometimes, you know, you're grasping, but make sure that they know that you're healthy, that you're wanting to move forward, you're wanting to grow, and you need their help to you know, multiply your efforts, do more for more kids, for more patients, more students. Make sure you have name gift opportunities in there as well. If you're building a building, if you know, it's endowments, whatever it might be, if you can put your name on it, for donors who are interested in that, they'll have a menu of sorts to look at. Now, when you actually go out and visit them, you may have additional information specifically for that donor. If you know that they're interested in a certain building and that you're expecting that they may give millions of dollars, it wouldn't hurt to have a rendering of that building with their name on it. So you can go as far as to do that, but know your donor. Different ways of giving is important. You know, they can pledge, but then again, there's a lot of other ways that they may not be aware of that they can give. So make sure that that is included in your case for support. Make sure that your volunteers and your staff can speak, you know, somewhat logically about the different ways. When it comes time for them to give a complicated gift, then, you know, the third person will be involved, but at least be able to kind of direct them to which gift they might be interested in. Any donors so far is good. I know, like with our proposals, we used to have, or with case statements, you can have pocket cards, and I'm sure some of these have it, so you can update information. So if you have a little pocket card that you have in your donor list, that way you can update it every time that you need to. And again, if you can be as personal as you can, sometimes you can't, but if you're printing off like certain pages in-house, if you can get a picture of that donor's child at the school, they'll get, I mean, you know, it's great. You're there, oh, that's my child. Oh yeah, that's when they were out at PE one day or whatever. And that's always a good kind of personal thing. Some organizations that wouldn't work, but anything you can do to customize it to that particular person's interests, I think would be helpful. That's the reason for the pocket parts. And if you're doing in-house with the column binding, you might have one page that you just update it before you bind it. Now, what I like to do too is whenever you're asking for a specific dollar amount, maybe not a range or whatever, there's a cover letter in your case statement, or with your case statement too, and then that's the personal, and then you have, you know, the information here that's kind of, I guess, generic in a way. But then when you're talking to them, you know, get specific about them and their interests. Sometimes Q&As are good too, because I mean, there's typical questions that you're going to get. You know, we can help you know what to expect that people will ask. Some things we may not put in questions and answers, but I've had weird questions like, well, even during the, I used to actually ask for gifts too, which I'm comfortable doing when I worked at the other firm, and sometimes now, depends on the client. But people have asked me, actually only happened once, but that's enough. You know, how much of my gift are you getting? I never considered that they may think that. You know, so you gotta be thinking. And we do not work from a percentage at all. We get paid for our time. If you give $1 million, or if you give $2, I'm not getting paid any different. So, you know, you don't know really what's in your donor's mind, but we've had enough experience that we can kind of predict. So questions and answers to some extent are great to have also in your case statement. Again, list of not just your donors, but your board, your key volunteers, and your staff. When we did our public announcement at Trinity, we had t-shirts printed up because it was like a picnic type thing. They were identified as volunteers. So we would say, you know, your volunteer has more information or whatever, so they were available and people recognized them, which is another kind of good thing to have. So listing your volunteers in there is great. Later on, they're going to be
people give to people.
Exactly.
I can show you some clever things. This was for a law school, and I thought that this was pretty clever. When a law school asks you for $6 million, it had better make a strong case. Here's our opening argument.
You know, Patrick was
yeah. And I thought that this was really kind of neat. This is a fold-out, and it offers the name-giving opportunities on the fold-out. I thought that was very, very clever. In some ways, there is kind of a paint by numbers way of constructing these things, and we kind of leave the paint by numbers when we bring in writers from the outside, the real creative talents, marketing houses. But there's a paint by numbers, and on 42, you will kind of sense that, you know, we have a letter from the chief executive. We kind of have a past, present, and future with the you know, the great history of the organization, what we're doing now, and the future introduces the capital campaign, because the capital campaign is going to be the bridge to that future. So, you know, there is a little bit of paint by numbers, but that's okay, you know, because we just want to cover the bases. Share with you this one. This is from St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Jackson, Mississippi. And St. Andrew's is the most academically rigorous school in the state. And there are other independent schools in Jackson, and this was started in the mid-40s, and it was developing a reputation. Actually, it was being informed by the competition that, you know, St. Andrews, they really kind of have the edgy kind of people. They're a little egg-headed, a little nerdy, you know, and a little liberal.
They'll be
you
their
know.
boss and do that too.
Yeah. And it was affecting admissions. So they brought in this talented twosome, and they did the research, and they came up with this admissions brochure of St. Andrew's Episcopal School, where it's cool to be smart, where they took something that was kind of being attacked as a weakness, and they just said, yeah, we're a school for smart people, and we'll own it, and where it's cool to be smart. And on the inside, they did a great job of not just focusing on academics, but talking about religious formation through chapel, through arts programs that they had, through athletic development of mind, body, soul, that kind of holistic approach to things, and St. Andrew's Episcopal School, where it's cool to be smart. And then we have this campaign that we were raising money for, and the central feature of that was a science building. And how they positioned the campaign is St. Andrew's Episcopal School. We have smart down to a science. And I love the thematic connection between their admissions and development. It's that theme of smart. It's cool to be smart. We have smart down to a science. I love the interweaving of those two. I just thought that was amazingly, and let me tell you what, folks, you pay for that. You pay for that big time. But in Jackson, they are the big school, and they don't mind spending some money to stake their claim at being, where the academic elite go.
It always seems like I could have thought of that, but I wouldn't have. You know, it's like a
Yeah,
lot of
once
times
you
you pay
hear it,
big
you're like-
bucks
Yeah.
for something so simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you hear it, you're like, oh, I could have.
But I didn't.
Yeah. That's the thing. You're paying for the people that do.
Okay. Now, I'm sure that this was accident. I think you tipped
I
your
kinda
hat
touched
to
on
this.
this, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it's accident, but these beautiful children in here, they somehow or another, they happen to be the children of our major gift donors. But I'm sure that was by accident, but, nonetheless, it's just, wow, how did that happen? I'll never know. Okay. Now, I'm gonna save this for the last. But any questions? Oh, let me tell you what, you do not have to have this. You can have a cone bound. And let me tell you, we did the Highlands Cashiers Hospital Foundation, yes, years ago. It was the fastest $23 million I have seen raised in my professional career. And the rich and powerful, that steering committee insisted on not spending any money, but just putting together a cone-bound, computer-generated, information. And that's all they wanted, and they got what they wanted. You have to know your constituency, and you need to use your steering committee to kind of find, where their sensibilities are, for that community. So, the other thing that Calder in his precise ways says is if your case document does not answer who, what, when, where, why, how, and how much, you need to go back and make sure that those questions are addressed in your case statement. Who, what, when, where, why, how, and how much. So those, if you kind of want to, before you finally approve it to go to press, make sure that those are addressed. And the other thing, and this is a pet peeve of mine, I do think that whatever you write, it should be spun gold. And I go apoplectic on typos when the subjects do not agree with the predicates. I just think, come on, let's fix this, because it just needs to be, you need to be putting your best foot forward. Particularly you folks who are from university world or independent school world, y'all are really kind of held to a higher standard. You cannot have
Education spelled wrong.
yeah. We talk about the public good, and it comes out being the pubic good. That's a bad one. That's a bad. We'll do a reprinting on that one, and it costs money. And don't that happened, and it's bad. It's just bad.
Do you guys help with that?
Huh?
Do you guys help with the materials?
Yeah.
And use a certain firm, a certain
We
agency, or freelancers?
This is what I believe. Every writer needs an editor, and every editor needs a writer. We're great editors, and we dot the i's, cross the t's, and.
Friend, there's not a typo in this book now.
Yeah.
If you see one, let us know.
Yeah.
You should.
We've had years of seminars to kind of iron out the wrinkles, but nonetheless, I mean, you really don't want the kind of stupid stuff, going out with your name on it.
Make sure your prospects' names are spelled right too. Some of these are hard to spell names, especially.
Oh boy.
Double check it, triple check it. Don't think you know. For someone who Snyder is spelled with an I instead of a Y, that happens a lot. I'm not usually offended, but if someone was asking me for money,
You need to have this. This is a great vessel for communicating information. But when you come to a video, to me the acid test is, are you crying at the end of it? And that's a good video. If a video can engage emotions in ways that a written story can't, because of music and all the facial expressions and things like that. So that's a wonderful help as well, to have a video that is maybe in the back packet of a brochure, so that you can share and keep as a lead behind. Oh, I tell you what happened with that one. that was the don't give.
I'm
video.
confused by this, yeah.
Yeah, don't give,
Yeah.
because, you know, it was a takeoff on, you know, I'm not gonna give because so-and-so, and I'm not gonna give, and then they shifted it, you know, to,
We should
well,
I mean, we can't.
I don't think we can, but it's a good DVD.
Trust us. It might be on the website, or maybe.
Is that the one with all the, with a lot of stars in that?
Well, there were stars, highly visible people in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh.
You know. And there was a nephrologist, who said, you know, it's not like we're asking you for a kidney. You know, so, kind of neat, very clever.
Oh, one thing I didn't mention about naming opportunities is another cool story is where the urologist named the bathroom stalls, or the urinals or something.
You're all, okay,
Yeah, which
yeah.
was very clever. You know, one thing I was gonna mention too is, what if there's a foyer area that's not as big as necessarily these classrooms over here or whatever, but it's more visible, more people see it, you know? Would that be a bigger naming opportunity than this classroom in the corner that, you know,
Sure.
that everybody sees? So those are things you have to consider, not just the size or whatever.
Yeah.
It's about-